Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Yin. Great to be back after a week off, and I hope you're all well. So let's head straight into the practice tonight. Finding a comfortable sitting position. So you could sit cross-legged on a cushion or up a little bit higher on a bolster. We're going to be sitting for about 5 minutes. And we're going to do a simple moving meditation just to start the class. So we're going to start with our arms at our sides. And you might like to close your eyes or just soften your gaze once you get used to the exercise. We're going to breathe in and very slowly raise our arms up. And then exhale, placing one hand on top of the other with a small space in between, and bring them back down to your belly. So that's one round. So breathing in, long, slow, deep breaths. And so it's fine if you take a few breaths before you get to the top or the bottom. Just doing what you feel you need to do. In. And noticing sensations in your arms, in your hands, with a space in between your hands. And breathing in. Perhaps notice sensations in your shoulders. Really turning our focus inwards and inviting this sense of slowing down. For the last round, breathing in. Feeling right into your body. Sensations in your hands. Let's rest for a moment. You may like to take your legs the other way or move a little bit. Rest your hands on your knees or your thighs. Keep your eyes closed or soften your gaze. And just notice what you can feel here. You may notice sensations like pulsation in certain areas of your body. Or perhaps there's warm or cool. So we're just observing here. And perhaps you can notice your breath. And also be aware of thoughts. We all have this constant stream of thoughts. You can just notice those too. Bring yourself back either to your breath or to sensations in your body. We can slowly move into and invite A sense of really resting into the practice. Just leaving what's been or what's to come. We practice being present, just right here. And when you're ready, opening your eyes, if you had them closed, just bring yourself back to your room. And let's head straight into our first yin pose, which is tonight. We're going to start with wall caterpillar pose. So finding a wall and placing some padding up against the wall. So I've got a small blanket here and I'm also working on some carpet. So it's important to support your body in the practice of yin with lots of padding supporting our joints. And we are going to bring our legs up here against the wall. So coming in any way you like. The way I'm coming in is by sitting side on and then swiveling my buttocks around, taking my legs up the wall, releasing my back to the floor. So you might have your buttocks a little bit away from the wall, or it can be up right close. Let's see how you feel. And just keeping a small bend in your knees. That's to support that flow of energy through your joints. And let's all take a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. So here, in our first yin pose, we're working down the back of our legs, our hamstrings. And wall yin, a wall caterpillar is a really good pose to do if you're feeling a little bit anxious, you've had a lot going on. Just taking your legs up a wall for a few minutes might really help. Helps to drop and settle our energy. So in each yin pose, we stay for up to 5 minutes. And it's really important to honour your well-being. So not everyone can stay for 5 minutes. You listen to your body and come out if you feel like you've had enough. If it's feeling too much sensation. Working at finding a sense of ease within ourselves, within the practice. This happens at different paces for everyone. It's also important that if you feel any pain or sharp stabbing sensation, too much sensation, they're all signs to come out of the pose or try a more supported option. Let's all take a deep breath in into our belly, feeling the expansion of our belly. And exhale, feeling the contraction as we release. Now just back to your normal breath. Noticing if you need to make any small adjustments through your back, through your legs. As energy shifts when we stay still, relatively still in each pose. We can support our alignment by making small adjustments as you feel you need to. And taking 2 more breaths here, just in your own time. And from here, we're going to come into the rebound, still staying lying down. Just bring your knees in towards your chest and wrap your arms around your knees and just stay still here. And let's take 1 deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. So we are gradually inviting this sense of letting go, this sense of softening. And each person, each student goes at their own pace. We're just allowing some space for the energy to flow through the yin tissues of the body in the rebound. When we come out of the pose, it's this rush of energy. And some of us feel it more than others, and that's fine. And now let's leave the rebound and roll to one side. And use the support of your arms to come back up to a sitting position. Sitting up on your square cushion, we are going to move now into butterfly pose. So if you have a tendency to round through your lower back, give yourself some more height by adding another cushion or some extra padding. That will enable gravity to do the work as you come forward. Making sure you can feel your sit bones nicely grounded. And from here in butterfly, we're making a diamond shape in between our legs, our feet together. And for the full butterfly, from here we fold forward, so flexing, rounding through your spine. Some options for support here. You could rest onto a bolster. I have a bolster just resting on my feet. You may like to put a block on top of the bolster and rest your forehead on the block. You can use the block in either way if you need a higher block, or you could use a couple of blocks. If it's feeling too much for your knees, you can place some support, some blocks or some cushions underneath your knees here. And so we're working our inner thighs in butterfly and also flexing through our spine. So if you're not feeling it in your inner thighs, you could experiment with bringing your feet closer in. Notice if that changes the sensation. And as a final option, if you need more support again, you can place the bolster underneath your legs. A bolster or a folded blanket, and fold forward from there. So yin is all about finding that edge, that place where you're feeling something, but not pain or discomfort. A place where you're feeling just the right amount for you. And then as we stay still, you may notice that that edge shifts. So the energy moves through the fascia, connective tissue of our body, which is what we're working in yin. We may need to make some small, subtle adjustments and movements in our body. And tuning into what you feel you need in each present moment. You can also use your breath. You can use your exhalation to soften. And you soften just at your own pace. Still feeling into your body so that you're aware of what you can feel. And observing any thoughts. Observing any judgments. Just bringing yourself back to this present moment. Knowing that you are okay just as you are. And let's take 3 more breaths here, just in your own time. And now to come out of the pose, I'm going to very slowly unravel through our spine, coming all the way up. One vertebrae at a time. And let's release any props to one side. You can stay sitting on your cushion. And from here, we'll move into a windshield wiper, leaning back on your hands. If that feels comfortable. Placing your feet a little bit wider than your hips and dropping one knee into the center. Time. Really feeling your legs here. Noticing any difference after the pose. And when you're ready, let's feel the rebound just by taking our legs out long. You can stay leaning back, or you could sit up, or you could lean back against a wall. There's a few options. And let's all take a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth with an ah. Just coming back to your natural breath. Just allowing a little bit of space to feel the rebound. Allow what needs to shift within your body to shift through. Now releasing your hands if you were leaning back. And from here, we're going to come into a series of 3 poses. Going to come into squat first, then we're going to move into toe squat. We'll have a short rest in child's pose, and then we're going to work a little bit deeper into our inner thighs, into frog pose. So staying sitting as you are and bringing your feet in towards your body and lift up through your buttocks to come into a squatting position. Or if that way doesn't work, come up in any other way that works for you. So taking your feet as wide apart as it feels comfortable. You can bring your hands into the center in prayer. For some of you, your feet may not touch, your heels may not touch the ground, so you could use a couple of blocks or some padding to rest your heels onto. And if taking your legs wide apart just doesn't work for you, another option is to bring your knees together in the center. You could wrap your arms around your knees. This will still work into your feet, your ankles. You can bring your hands to prayer, or you can allow them to rest over the sides, whatever feels comfortable. Notice where you're feeling it in your hips or in your inner thighs. If you need to change the position of your feet a little bit to find that edge. Won't be here for too much longer. And now let's leave our squat. To place our hands on the ground, knees on the ground. To turn onto my mat. And from here, coming up into a kneeling position. We're going to now move into a toe squat. And coming up to kneeling and untucking your toes. This is the first option for toe squash. Noticing how that feels. You feel like you can go a little bit deeper. I'm just going to place a couple of blocks in between my legs to rest my pelvis on, sit back towards my heels. And a deeper option again is to simply sit back towards your heels without any blocks. And give a deep stretch into our toes and our feet, our ankles. And just tuning into what you can feel. We'll be here for about another 30 seconds. Notice if you've had enough, if you need to come out, you can rest down in child's pose. That's where we'll be heading next. And now let's all release our feet. The tops of our feet are flat on the floor. Let's take our knees out a little bit wide and drop our buttocks towards our heels, resting down just for a few moments in child's pose. Rest your forehead to the ground or use some supports, cushion, some blocks. And if your buttocks doesn't make it to your heels, you can place some padding in between your thighs and your calves. Just feeling the support of the ground here. Noticing any sensations in the tops of your feet, your ankles, on your toes. And now let's slowly bring ourselves back up, rolling up through your spine, stay at your own pace. And we'll now head into frog pose. So for frog, have some padding on either side for your knees. And you may need your bolster handy for this one as well. So taking your knees out wide onto the padding here and allowing your legs to just release out behind you. So the tops of your feet may be on the ground, or perhaps your ankles are resting on the ground. Just allow your feet to go where they feel comfortable. From here, bring your bolster into your center. I will just change directions so you can have your bolster out in front. And from here, going to come forward and rest onto the bolster. So you can position your hips, you can move the position of your hips forward and backwards to find that right position for you. Remembering we are working our inner thighs, so you can take your knees further apart if you're wanting a deeper sensation, or bring them closer in if you feel like you've gone too far. If you feel like you can go a little bit deeper, you can work without the bolster on your forearms. Or as a deeper option again, resting right onto the floor. And breathing in to the pose. Quite a deep pose, frog, for many people. We won't be here for too much longer. Staying present with the strength. Also bringing a softness to that strength. And perhaps that's a softness in your mind. Balancing out those two qualities. And from here, let's start to release out of the pose. We'll start to make your way back up. Bring your knees into the center. You might like to let out a groan. May like to move your hips around a little bit, or just doing whatever feels organic for you. And then we're going to make our way down onto our backs. Heading down onto your back. And let's bring our knees into our chest. Place either hand on either knee. And let's circle our knees out to the sides. And changing directions, so circling the other way. And let's rest our legs out long, just for a mini Shavasana. And taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth with an ah. Just feeling the weight of your body on your mat. Allowing some space for the rebound of frog. Notice if you're feeling any subtle shifts going on, perhaps in your legs or other areas. And from here, going to stay lying down. And we're going to do a gentle neck massage lying down. So bringing your fingertips to the base of your skull. And start to make circular motions on either side at the base of your skull. So noticing what pressure you like and feel right into your neck if you like, around to your ears. And you may also like to gently rock your head very slowly as you massage from side to side. I like to soften your jaw. When you're finished, just releasing your hands by your sides, just pausing for a moment. And now rolling over onto your belly. We're going to move into Sphinx pose. So for the full Sphinx pose, coming up onto your forearms, onto your elbows, having your elbows roughly underneath your shoulders. Some students like to take them a little bit out to the sides. So that's an option as well. For me, it's more comfortable directly under my shoulders. Noticing how this feels for your lumbar spine, your lower back. If it feels a little bit too much, you can use a bolster and come over the bolster. This will lessen the compression in your lumbar spine. And if you're feeling like you need more sensation in your lumbar spine, you could come on top of the bolster. Resting your forearms on top of the bolster will increase the sensation in your lower back. And as a final option, could bend into your knees. That increases the sensation again. Or, as a different option, you could do a Sphinx meets a half frog. And if you feel like you've had enough of frog today, you can stay with one of the other options. So I've just brought my knee, my left knee, up towards my left hip, bending into my knee. And if you're doing this option, noticing if you need to be down lower for the Sphinx meets half frog. Connecting in with your breath. Noticing what you can feel. And if you're in the half frog, changing over to the other side, bringing your right knee towards your right hip. And working with softening as you exhale. Placing your right knee down, going to slowly come out of the pose, releasing any props, and resting down, placing your hands out in front, resting your forehead on your hands, and taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth with an ah. Noticing the weight of your body grounding towards your mat, supported by the earth. Now leaving the rebound and turning over onto your back. And we will work now into a spinal twist. So if you have a preferred version of spinal twist, heading on in at your own pace. Otherwise, following along. So starting by bringing your knees in towards your chest, taking your arms out to the side at shoulder height. And pinning your left shoulder, so feeling your left shoulder grounding into the mat. And dropping your knees over towards the right. You may need to shuffle your hips a little bit towards the left. Noticing your knees are needing some support. They're hovering off the ground. You could use a bolster or folded blanket, some cushions to rest your knees on. Also look over towards your left hand. If that feels okay for your neck. Also play around with the positioning of your knees. Noticing if you bring them closer towards your torso. You deepen the stretch through your spine. Or if you take them further away. Or lessen the sensation. You could also cactus into your arms, bending into your elbows. The final option, which is a deeper option, is twisted roots. Bringing your knees back to the center, crossing your left knee over your right. You can tuck your left foot underneath your right calf, and then dropping your knees over towards the right. Just noticing what feels right for you. As we head into the last 15 minutes of class, if it feels right for you, starting to invite sense of peace into your whole being. You may even like to breathe it in. Peace within ourselves is possible for all of us. We just have to practice and allow space for it. In the quiet space of yin is a really good place to practice. Let's take 2 more breaths here, just in your own time. Then unraveling out of the pose, bringing your knees back to the center, hips to the center, placing your feet flat on the floor. You may like to do a brief windshield wiper lying down or any other movement before we head over to the other side. When you've finished heading over to the other side, bringing your knees into your chest, picking your arms out to the sides at shoulder height, dropping your knees over to the left, shuffling your hips a little bit to the right. Using a bolster if you're working there to support your knees, finding that edge by shifting your knees either closer to your torso or further away from your torso. You can look over to your right hand if your neck feels okay. And if you're working a little bit deeper in twisted roots, bringing your knees back to the center, and this time crossing your right leg over your left knee. Bringing your right foot under your left calf, if it goes there, and dropping your knees over to the left. Shuffle your hips. Also cactus your arms. Just making sure that your right shoulder is nicely anchored on your mat. Your awareness down to your legs, and softening your legs. Also through your buttocks. There's a nice flow of energy down your legs. Just resting in this space of being. Inviting peace and experiencing being. Just seeing if you need to make any subtle adjustments. Just honoring your well-being and your needs in this present moment. Now let's start to bring our legs back up to the center. And placing our feet flat on the floor and doing a windshield wiper just to ease out through our hips. You may like to bring your knees in towards your chest and gently rock to massage through your lower back. Could also allow the back of your head to rock. So your whole body is rocking in a soothing motion. When you've finished your movement, preparing for Shavasana, our final resting pose. You may like to put extra layers on, put socks, or use a blanket over you. Could rest lying with a bolster underneath your knees. It'll feel like a nice support for your lower back and for the energy flow down your legs. Or you could simply lie down and bend into your knees with your feet flat on the floor. You could lie directly on your back. When you found your comfortable position, I will guide you in a body awareness practice. Starting by bringing your awareness to your heels. Noticing your heels in contact with the floor. And then softening through your feet. If it doesn't feel right for you, just allow my words to wash over you. Then bringing your awareness to the back of your calves in contact with the floor. And softening your lower legs, your ankles. Bringing your awareness to your knees. Softening from the center of the joint out to the skin. And noticing any parts of the back of your thighs that are in contact with the ground, as well as your buttocks in contact with the floor. And then softening through your thighs and your buttocks. Shifting your awareness to your hips and your pelvic bowl. And softening your belly. And noticing your lower back in contact with the ground. Softening your lower back. Shifting your awareness now up through your torso, front and back, and softening. And noticing your rib cage, softening through your rib cage, all the way up to your shoulders, and softening your shoulder blades. Noticing them in contact with the ground. Softening the tops of your shoulders. And noticing the tops of your arms, the part particularly that's in contact with the ground. Softening your whole upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, noticing the back of your lower arms that are in contact with the ground, your wrists, front and back, your hands, softening all the way down to your fingertips. Lastly, noticing the back of your hands in contact with the earth. Shifting your awareness to your neck and your throat, softening the skin on your neck. Now softening through your jaw and your whole face. Making this your exploration. The sides of your head and your temples, around your ears, the back of your head, and finishing at the top of your head. And let's just now notice the back of your head in contact with the ground. And noticing now your whole body connecting to the ground. Just resting in this space for a few more moments. Now let's start to wake up by bringing some movement through your hands, through your feet, through your legs, through your arms. You may like to take a stretch out long through your arms, right through your legs down to your feet, and releasing and rolling to one side, pausing for a moment. You can use your arm as a pillow or rest onto a pillow. Using the support of your arms to bring yourself back up to a comfortable sitting position. And let's bring our hands into prayer position at our heart center, bowing our head towards our heart. Just taking a moment here to honor yourself for taking the time to ground and practice balancing your energy through the nourishing practice of Yin Yoga. Now honoring others who are practicing in the group this week and honouring our sacred earth, which we all share, gives us ground for our experience of life. And together, let's say namaste. Namaste. If you enjoyed the practice tonight, if you have any questions, if you need some different options, please do feel free to contact me for a chat. Otherwise, love to see you next week. And I wish you a wonderful week. Okay, bye for now.